So we made it over here to our last section, which is going to be measurements. And today, this is what we're learning today. Today we're going to be learning about volume and capacity. So for the past 2 days we were doing weight and mass. Now these next 2 days we're going to be doing volume and capacity. We're going to be learning about liquids. Now volume has to do everything with the customary system. That means the customary system will have the gallons, the pints, the ounces, the quarts. Capacity has to deal with the metric system, which has to do with the milliliters and the liters. Okay, so hopefully you look at the other video and the other anchor charts that I put, and be sure you put those notes in your journal, because that's what's going to help you for this one. And if you remember our notes that we did take right here, we did take our notes about volume and capacity, where we have the fluid ounces, which are like eye drops, and the biggest would be like the gallons. That's the customary. And the capacity in the metric system, the smallest would be the milliliter, which is the size of an eye drop again, and the biggest would be a liter. So be sure you look at your notes of your ladder to help you, especially when we do biggie smalls. So now on to your questions. We're going to do these letters here together. So right here the instructions say choose the best unit of measurement for AD. So we have a fish bowl. In our fish bowl, is it better to use milliliters or liters to help us measure the fish bowl? Well, not the milliliters, because this one is too small. The liters would be just right. The milliliters is like the size of eye drops. The liters like the size of a bottle of soda. So that's why it's better to use liters in this case. In this one, letter B, we have a juice box. So is the juice box better to use gallons or cups? I think gallons is too big. Okay, so we're not going to use gallons. It's going to be better measured in cups. Letter C, which is the best estimate of the capacity of an eyedropper? So let me go ahead and circle best estimate, capacity, and an eyedropper. Now again, look at the notes that I did up here. Capacity, we are going to be using the metric system. So there's the word capacity right here. So be sure you make a side note, metric. That's what I want to see for your questions. So capacity means we're going to use the metric system. Now look at your silly answers. You can get rid of 1 yard because that has to do with length. It has nothing to do with liquid, so we can get rid of that one. That's an obvious silly answer. The next one, kilograms, because that's dealing with mass. Now we have 1 milliliter and 1 liter. Well, it's not 1 liter because that's going to be too big. This one is just right, 1 milliliter. So that's your answer for letter C. Be sure you make it your side notes. Look what I did in my question. That's exactly what I want to see. Show me your thinking. Letter D, which is the best estimate of the capacity of a wading pool? That's like a little bird bath, like a small little bowl that you can put outside, a little wading pool. Not a big pool. It's just, you know, like just a little, like a pond. So let me go ahead and circle best estimate, capacity, and wading pool. Again, capacity means the metric system. Okay, so we're going to use the metric system, and let me go ahead and show you on Buddy really quick. So you see here on Buddy where it says volume, that means I'm going to use everything here. There's my answers. Where it says capacity, I'm using all of this. Okay, so be sure you look at Buddy. So back to the question. Let me get rid of the obvious silly answers. Letter F is a silly answer. km represents kilometers. This has to deal with length. So I'm getting rid of that one. That's length. I don't want to know, I'm not measuring distance. I'm measuring capacity. So like I said, capacity, here are your possible answers. Milliliters or liters. Anything else I'm going to get rid of. Gallons. Gallons is not even going to be there because this one's going to be volume. The word that we have here is capacity and it's the metric system. This is customary. So I'm going to get rid of that one. So now let me think. Between the milliliters and the liters, what would be the best one to use for a wading pool? And it won't be this one, the milliliters, because that's too small. Remember, the milliliters are like the size of the eye drops. And this is where your questions, or your, I'm sorry, not your questions, but your notes on the ladders, smallest to biggest, right here, so you get a good estimate of what they are. Those notes will help you for these kinds of questions. So let me get rid of letter G. My answer is letter J. Right there. Moving on. Over here. We're going to use the table to answer the following questions. Letters E through G. So this one says the table shows equivalent measures between two customary units of liquid volume. Okay, so we're looking at liquid volume. So volume, so it means customary. So which of these would follow the chart? Okay, so if we look over here, we have 1 equals 8, 2 equals 16, and 3 equals 24. I know you guys can finish the pattern, right? Because you can tell on this side we're counting by 8. So you have 8, 16, 24. The next one would be 32, and the next one would be 40. But what are the units? Look right here. 1 equals 8. Look at Buddy. And again, we're looking at the customary units of volume. Let's make a sign up for volume, means customary. So let me go ahead and look at volume. Which one of these has 1 to equal 8? Not the gallons, not the quarts and pints, not the pints and cups, but here's our answer right here. 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces, right there. So those are the two customary units. We have the cups and the fluid ounces. Now, which units of measure are represented in the table? And we just filled them in. They were cups and fluid ounces. Okay, and then letter F, complete the table by filling in the missing numbers. Well, we just filled them in, right? We found the pattern 32, 40. So they were 32 and 40. Letter G, write a rule to show the relationship between these two units of measure. Okay, so this is where we can use our little function machine. The input, the rule, and the output. The input, this is your input, and this is your output. So the input would be the cups, the output would be the fluid ounces. And remember, if you look at your chart right here, it says 1 equals 8. So in the input, 1 is going to equal 8. What do you think the rule would be? Well, we're not going to be adding 8. It's going to be times 8. That's the rule. We're multiplying by 8. Because if you look over here, let me show you. If you look over here, 1 times 8 equals 8. 2 times 8 equals 16. So if you think it's adding, if it's not going to be adding, it'll be multiplication. Look over here. 3 times 8 equals 24. 4 times 8, 32. 5 times 8, 40. So right here, you're going to put the rule is to multiply by 8. And then you guys write an explanation how you know you are correct. So that's what I want you guys to do on your own. Right here, write me a sentence and explain how you know you are correct that it's multiplied by 8. How did you know that? And that's it. That's what we're doing for today. Volume and capacity. So you're going to be responsible to do numbers 1 all the way to number 10 right here. Okay? And be sure that you take good notes. You show me your work, make side notes, and as always, do your best. Okay? Thank you for watching.